Hi, this is Alonda of CocoaMommy, and this is the first episode of my Diary of a Divorced CocoaMommy. When I was speaking with another blogger, she is assisting me with financial empowerment. She mentioned as I was going over, some of the things that have added to my current credit situation, she felt like I not only had a story to tell about going through divorce, but I had a journey. So, was speaking with another blogging consultant who was helping me to, get my blog to where I needed to be. She also agreed. She thought it would be great to incorporate videos as I'm, speaking directly to those who may be going through this life transition. So I am here today to do my first episode, as I said. I am CocoaMommy, that's the name of my blog, and I just wanted this to serve as a platform to hopefully inspire and to empower women, specifically African American women, going through the same life transition. I know for me, I use the tagline, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I thought that was a great mantra to kind of adopt going forward because it is, as I said, it's a significant transition and it impacts you both physically, mentally, and then if you have kids involved, it's extremely I can't even express in words, how significant it is in terms of how it impacts your children. Now, I know for my kids, we were, as I call it, I left my home that I shared with my ex, and that was, it was easier for me, I guess, but, again, as an adult, we're very, to some extent, we're resilient and we bounce back. But for kids, when you displace children from, a familiar environment, their home, their neighborhood, their schools. For my daughter, she was just about, she was 3, she was about to turn 4, and my son was about to turn 10. So he was leaving his neighborhood, he was leaving his school. So for him, I think he still carries the weight of that, of having to leave all of that behind, so to speak. And we moved into my mother's house, which, of course, grandparents are great, but, it's having someone else's space, for you and your children is a little bit different, especially when you've lived on your own, for quite some time. So that in itself was a transition for my kids. So I can't stress enough that we have to be extremely mindful of, our reaction, our behaviors, how we express things. And granted, I am no angel by any stretch of the imagination. If I had it to do all over again, if I had the ability to kind of rewind some of my behaviors, some of my reactions, I definitely would do so. So I'm just, kind of throwing that out there that as we're processing all of this and we're making this transition, just try as best as you can, because I know it's challenging, it's a struggle, but to be mindful of your behaviors, your reactions, because I think ultimately you never want to have someone, as they say, see you sweat. And I think in some cases, people forget that. They forget themselves and they tend to be more reactive than proactive. And I would say the best way to kind of combat some of the challenges and difficulties is to be extremely proactive. And what does that mean? Proactive in moving your life forward, not being reactive and feeding into some of the negative energy that you're receiving. Something else that I think is important is to surround yourself with very supportive people. As far as people, definitely put those who are negative on mute. Totally put them on mute. Under the circumstances, you need no source of negativity. You need no judgments. People will say, well, didn't you know this? Or, why didn't you better plan? You chose that person. All within their right to express their opinion. I'm not against people having that right. However, under the circumstances, what you need support, and that means positive support. However, you also need those friends who will praise, who will support, who will offer up as much as they, physically and mentally can to you. But you also need those friends to check you when you are making decisions that will significantly impact you in the long run. So I think it's a dual role that those friends need to play. You know, a true friend to me is one that can tell you this, to say, no, you're not going to handle it this way, and this is why. You know, how you choose to move forward, of course, is totally up to you, and it's at your discretion. But I think that's all a part of being a supportive friend. They're not just there to praise you and uplift you, but they also need to be able to say, wait a minute, put the brakes on, pump your brakes, you need to rethink this because this is why. Also, too, I think you need to step back and take some time for you. I think it's really important that we take time for ourselves, because if we are not physically and mentally right and together, there is no way we can take care of ourselves, let alone take care of our children. So that's important. You know, if you come in from work and you've worked 8+ hours, come in, you need to decompress. I know for me, I was never, ever, 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 you know, committed to doing that. I would come in and I would move right on to the next activity. And normally it would entail homework, it would entail cooking. So I feel like as moms, take that time to yourself. It is not a source of guilt, nor should it be. I think that's another thing we suffer with, at least for me as a single mom now. I feel like I'm so accountable to my children, or I must be, because I'm the primary caregiver. I'm, you know, with my kids, I say 365 days a year. You know, if you're lucky enough to have, you know, that custody agreement, which allows your kids to be, you know, with their other parent, you know, every other weekend or whatever that may look like for in your particular case, take advantage. Use that time to, again, be proactive. Find, you know, a hobby. Find something that you enjoy with that downtime. I feel like sometimes I am always on parent mode. There is never a moment when I don't have to think and act like a mommy. So I think for me, you know, fortunately enough, I am carving out what that looks like this year and taking what I'm calling a momcation, because I have not been on vacation by myself in 6 years, which is ridiculous, I know. So again, taking that me time is I can't even stress enough how important it is. Also, you know, when it comes to things that I've learned, I'm hoping to share that with you as well, in terms of the legal, some of the legal aspects of this, you know, owning property together, what that looks like, you know, the time frame for being separated and divorced. A little different from person to person, but I will share with you what I did to kind of speed that along as far as the process that my lawyer was following. And of course, she is there to protect my rights. She's there to protect what you know, what is owed back to me in terms of what I've amassed over the course of being married. So I get that. But I feel like for me, I needed to speed up the process because I wanted to close that chapter in my life. I knew there was no chance of reconciling with the other person. And I felt like you close one chapter, that allows you to open the next chapter in moving forward. And again, being proactive. So I will share with you how I was able to do that. And also on the back end, I was able to save some of the legal fees associated with doing that. Because I think if nothing else, talk to your lawyer. You know, have them find ways to, you know, to kind of reduce what their hourly rates are. There are ways around that, and I learned that, you know, a little bit too late in the process. I guess I wish now I would have expressed, you know, my concerns with, you know, the legal fees just accruing month after month. But again, it's all about a lesson learned. I've learned from my experiences, so I'm hoping, you know, sharing my experiences will help to inspire and to empower all of you out there who are potentially going through this. And I think it's specifically for me, speaking as an African American woman who is going through this, I'm hoping this will also, you know, help you as well. But again, in order to I think to move forward, being proactive, and what that looks like, scoping out what that means, from a financial standpoint. I know for me, that's something that I am, diligently working on, is trying to reconstruct myself financially. And also preparing for my future, because not only do I have 2 children to raise who will potentially go on to college and start their lives, what does that look like for me? And I feel like I need to reconstruct my finances, my credit, so that I can reasonably save enough money to have the same lifestyle in retirement as I'm living now, or even better. That works as well. So I think too, we have to be mindful of all of these things. They're all critical pieces, and I think they all lead to our physical and mental well-being. I think once we have ourselves in order, our lives in such an order where we have a true comfort level in terms of moving forward for the next chapter, I think that pretty much speaks volumes in terms of us, getting through such a challenging and sometimes difficult transition. So hopefully, if there's any questions you may have, and you may not want to post it on my blog post, please feel free to reach out to me via email. I will keep everything confidential, because I know for me, this is not meant to be any sort of platform or forum to bash people. It's meant to inspire and empower African American women going through the same transition, and for that matter, women regardless of race, because I think too, we are a network and a village within ourselves, and I think the more information we share with one another, the better prepared we are for life's transitions. So please feel free to reach out to me via email. My email is CocoaMommy, that's CocoaMommy @gmail.com. My blog is CocoaMommy.com. And I am also on Twitter @CocoaMommy, and I will continue to put up the videos, because what I'm hoping to do is incorporate the videos with my blog posts. So this is going to be episode 1, and I will just pretty much play it by ear. I just wanted this to kind of be my form of therapy, to kind of get what my journey has looked like. I've been divorced for a total of 2 years. My divorce became final in 2013, January of 2013, and I separated from my ex in 2010. So it was almost, I would say, a full 2 years of being separated, and then my divorce was finalized in January of 2013. So with that said, I just wanted to make this quick video just to kind of do an intro of what the Diary of a Divorced CocoaMommy, what the intent is, why I'm using this as a platform to, again, to inspire and empower women who are going through this transition. So I will be back soon, so please stay tuned. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and to all of the videos that I upload, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.